Oh, what a mess. It looks like the Republicans have reached a deal with their Democratic counterparts, who, they have a very negative relationship with those Democrats. Those Democrats and Republicans, they never agree on anything. But miraculously, they always seem to come together and settle their differences just in time to raise the debt ceiling every single time. This has been going on for, at least a century. But really, going all the way back to the beginning of this country, at the end of the day, all the politicians agree, yes, we want to keep spending money, we want to go deeper into debt. But this is a cudgel that either party can use against the other at various times, not to actually achieve any goals, not to get any policies through, but just to make a big stink in the media and get their voters excited that, hey, we might actually do something for you. We've got leverage against, our political enemies, and we might use it for good, or at least for something that might marginally make a difference in your life, or at least something that intellectually you find pleasing. Well, not this time. Not any time. Never happens that way. This time, the Republicans agreed to raise the debt ceiling with pretty much no conditions, despite the fact that they, put up a big fight for a couple weeks and were saying, we're not raising the debt ceiling, not until these crazy Democrats, get under control and, we rein in the IRS and quit spending so much, because there's going to be, 87,000 new IRS agents, and, Kevin McCarthy's claiming that, we're going to defund some of that. Okay, sure. And we're going to get back $20 billion that's already been spent. Oh, okay. Nothing changes. It's all the same. That's why I haven't talked about the debt ceiling at all on this channel. It has not happened. It has not been mentioned once, has it? The reason for that is because this always happens. It always ends the same way. And I'm tired of it. I've been hearing about the debt ceiling for my whole life. So why am I bringing it up today? Now that the issue's been settled. I didn't even talk about it when it was a live issue. Well, because it might not be settled. The House Freedom Caucus is threatening to throw a wrench in the gears, to shut down the continuing resolution, or I don't even know if they'll call it that. Whatever, the bill, the deal to raise the debt ceiling. Because they wanted to use this opportunity, actually, to gain some concessions from the Democrat Party, to get some things through. I've heard about, like the REINS Act, potentially. The REINS Act is trying to claw back some of the power from the bureaucracy and give the Congress some authority over so-called regulations created out of whole cloth by the bureaucracy. This is, what they're talking about is the bureaucracy just legislating its own authority, coming up with brand new laws that are not at all rooted in anything that has been authorized by Congress. And so this is a very minimalistic reform that you make to a bureaucracy that's getting out of control. The more effective position would be abolishing the bureaucracy entirely, but the moderate position is, let's reform the bureaucracy and try and install some kind of check on their power, because already the bureaucracy is not supposed to have the power to make law. They're just supposed to enforce the laws that are passed by Congress. That hasn't been happening in this country in a very long time. Most new laws that affect you or me, they come out of, the EPA or the ATF or the FDA. They don't come out of Congress. But anyway, this is a small example of one concession that the Republicans could have gotten. But the fact of the matter is, the Republicans don't want that bill passed, any more than the Democrats do. And so apparently the House Freedom Caucus, which gets a pretty bad rap. I mean, they're not great. They're not angels. I don't think that they're perfect. But at times like this, they can be useful. They are in a way. I mean, Congress is a terrible institution, but they're kind of the best group within Congress. Individual members of the Freedom Caucus, can vary in quality. But I'm saying as a block, they're better than, the broader GOP caucus, certainly. They're better than the Progressive Caucus. And so they wanted something out of this. They didn't want McCarthy just to pass another clean CR, essentially. And they are threatening now, because the only thing you can do at this point in order to stop this from going through is introducing a motion to vacate the chair, which was I believe that was a term of these Freedom Caucus guys, at least a big group of them, voting for Kevin McCarthy to be Speaker, was they wanted to make it so that only one member of Congress needed to introduce a motion to vacate the chair, because they wanted insurance against McCarthy if he were to act up. And here we are in late May, and they're already threatening to introduce this motion and try and get rid of Kevin McCarthy, which is good, because this is their leverage over him. That was the point of them putting this rule back in. They're making it easier to introduce what in other countries is called a vote of no confidence. In America, we call it a motion to vacate the chair. But it's the same idea. It comes to a vote, and everyone's supposed to vote, okay, do we want this person to be Speaker? And you assume that the Democrats are all going to vote no, and that the Republicans, are going to largely vote for Kevin McCarthy. But if there's enough Republicans who are mad at him over this, McCarthy will not be able to gain a majority, and the Republicans will have to, either McCarthy will have to make another deal with these guys to get them back on board to, keep him as Speaker, or that Republicans will have to elect a new Speaker, someone who's capable of appeasing more of the, of the party's members than Kevin McCarthy is, because right now Kevin McCarthy is partnering with the Democrats and screwing over part of his own coalition, or rather his own caucus, technically. You don't. Again, I'm using parliamentary terms interchangeably with congressional terms. U.S. Congress has its own terms. But it gets confusing because you have the House GOP caucus, which forms the majority, but then also you have the House Freedom Caucus, which is a separate thing, but they have overlap. I mean, I think every member of the Freedom Caucus is, caucuses with the GOP, and so they are part of that majority. So I hope these guys are not just bluffing. I would like to see McCarthy gone. Never really wanted him there to begin with. I was very much, enthralled watching the resistance to Kevin McCarthy when this new Congress first came to be early this year. I was somewhat, disappointed to see that, he still ended up becoming the Speaker, but I was hopeful that he would be somewhat crippled, that he would be handicapped and forced into, making the right decision most of the time. So I'm going to monitor this. Obviously, I will do at least one follow-up to this. At the very least, if this still ends up going through and the Freedom Caucus doesn't actually put up any kind of a fight, I will, I will respond and do a follow-up, letting you all know just how much just how low these folks can sink. Because I'm tempering my words somewhat now. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, just like I tried to give McCarthy somewhat the benefit of the doubt, although I don't think that I was ever kind to him on this channel. I'm giving the Freedom Caucus the benefit of the doubt that they're going to fight McCarthy and potentially fight him to the point of vacating his position and installing a new Speaker of the House. But if after all this the bill passes anyway, I think it'll be safe to say at that point that even the most moderate reforms are incapable going through Congress, that Congress is entirely a pointless effort, that there is no reason to elect decent people to Congress, that it's a waste of talent to the extent that there are any talented people in Congress, because this is asking so little. This is asking so very little of the Republican Party. This is saying, hey, give us some lip service. That's it. They can't even do that. They can't stop themselves from engaging, in a socialist fraternal kiss with their Democratic counterparts. So anyway, with that said, I will see you folks back here tomorrow.